Recording from the NōmGeo Mobile Command Center, also known as the RV. You're listening to the NōmGeo Podcast, hosted by Brandon Versaw and sometimes Chris Hilliard. Welcome to the brand new, rebranded NōmGeo Podcast. I have decided that we will go away from Paranormal Not on Camera, even though it was fun, but we were a little pigeonholed there, and I think this way we're kind of in line with the rest of my channels and everything. So joining me as usual is my buddy Chris.
Hey, everybody.
And we're going to try out just a new format, not really anything in particular to talk about. Also, kind of had to move away from Paranormal Not on Camera because I'm broke and I got rid of my HBO Max subscription, so I can't really watch the watch the show that we were tearing down anymore.
Yeah, man. On that note, I kind of feel like I don't know. We didn't really get a whole lot from there, anyways. I think it would be like a recurring theme.
Yeah, it was a little tedious too. Just I don't know. Maybe I'm just lazy, and that's why I went away from that format. But this way we can talk about the videos that I'm putting out. I just released the first episode of NōmGeo Paranormal. So for the probably zero listeners coming over from the previous format of the podcast, you might be interested to see me and Chris do an investigation, which will be coming out on the 15th of March. The first episode was just a travel journal. Me and our friend Brad, it was just basically me driving up in the RV from Brownsville over to pick up Brad in Arkansas and then over to Oklahoma. And the first investigation, like I said, is out March 15th. Did you watch the first episode yet?
I did. I actually did that this morning while I was on a job site waiting on some other stuff.
Nice.
It was cool, man. I was very jealous of the RV life while that was going on. Oops, let me turn this phone off.
Yeah, man. Well, you're welcome to join in the RV life anytime you want. So,
Yeah, hopefully we can swing that. And it's just scheduling with all these kids around and stuff. My whole life's just dependent on scheduling well.
Yeah, which brings me to the next reason that I wanted to rebrand the podcast a little bit. I think with you having 4 children and a busy work schedule, having a different format allows me to do some stuff on my own maybe and have some different guests and all that. So I don't necessarily have to wait around for you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's understandable. I mean, my feelings aren't hurt at all.
Good. That's good. Glad you're resilient. But yeah, I mean, we'll still try to do it together whenever we can. But this way, I can maybe be a little more regular with posting.
Yeah, that would be good. How long's it been since we did this?
Oh, geez. It's probably been like 3 months or so. Probably been like 3 months.
Yeah,
something like that. I don't know.
Time flies.
Time has no meaning anymore since 2020. So the next video I've got coming out this coming weekend is another video from Hawaii. And I'm gradually learning the editing process, gradually getting better. This has given me the chance to hone my skills with editing a little bit more and used a lot more of the tools that the editing program allows me. So hopefully it'll be cool. Everything's going to gradually get better as time progresses is my hope.
Just a side note, what was the place that you stopped at in that first video? The lake that you stopped at?
I stopped, just me and Florence, at Lake Tawakoni State Park. It's just outside of Dallas.
Tawakoni.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take a stab at spelling that like it sounds. I'm sure I'll be able to find it, but it looked cool, so I just wanted to make a note.
Yeah, that morning when I got up, it was the start of a couple days of nothing but fog, which ended up being really cool for that first investigation. It gave us like the perfect vibe for the first quote unquote haunted location.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. Do you want to talk about that first one?
Yeah, we can go ahead and talk about it. Don't go into. I mean, it's not like we found ghosts, so I mean, we can. It's not like we're going to spoil anything major. Uh,
Yeah, well, and I was thinking about that too, and it's like basically the owners of that place were pretty adamant that those spirits or ghosts or whatever they thought was there was pretty helpful and chill, friendly, you could say. So by saying that, I'm saying like, what if they're too chill and they're there and they're just hanging out with us, but they're not particularly inclined to do anything we ask them to do?
well, then they're not very helpful, and they might as well not exist.
Because we had several tools, right, that you brought. I'm wondering if there's any other tools we can find that are useful in those situations.
I mean, there's all kinds of ghost hunting tools, but
Is thermal imaging a big thing when it comes to that? Like you go look around a room and look for heat signatures and
there are. I've seen
or
ghost hunters
cold
use.
spots.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen ghost hunters. I mean, that's pretty common. They use, you know, thermal imaging. Thermal imaging. The really cool one that I would like to get, but it's a little expensive, and I need Patreon supporters. Hint, hint. Um, before I can afford something like that is the SLS camera. It basically, it you point it around, and if there's an image of a person, it shows like a little stick figure of that person. And
Okay.
you watch the other shows that use it, and they'll just be pointing in like the corner of a room where there's nothing there, and all of a sudden the camera has this stick figure there. So they, tend to think that it's a ghost.
SLS camera.
Yeah. But again,
Um,
electronics, I'm skeptical of anything that is relying on electronics because electronics are fickle and I don't think they're trustworthy.
yeah, I'm really curious what sort of I don't even know the right phrase. What sort of technical mechanism that camera would have to tell it to put a stick figure outline wherever it decides to.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't even
Um,
know if it was originally designed for ghost hunters or if they, you know, co-opted something kind of like the FLIR thermal imaging camera was not made for looking for ghosts. It's it was made for probably for like, your job looking for hot wires and stuff like that. So, but I'm not sure if the SLS camera was designed specifically for ghost hunting, then I am even more skeptical of it because I think a lot of times, these pseudo scientist types, they come up with something that appears to be showing evidence and they have no scientific backing for it. Just like the REM pod, they took like a theremin, like some components of a theremin, and then modified it with alarms and stuff. So I mean, and we know from our first investigation that the REM pod can't be trusted because radios set it off.
yeah, unless walkie-talkies use ghosts,
That's
maybe
right.
that's how they power them. I don't
You're
know.
actually, yeah. When you talk into the walkie-talkie, part of your spirit goes from your body to the other radio.
Oh, man. So that means that there's something to that native superstition about people taking pictures and stealing your soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Possibly. So I just did a little search.
Mm-hmm.
The first three SLS cameras that pop up are from sites that are directly for supplying paranormal activity hunters or pursuers.
That's the only place I've ever seen it. I don't know. Again, like I don't know the origins of it, and if maybe the industries that use it call it something else. But yeah, I have my suspicions that it's specifically for ghost hunting.
Gotcha. Structured light sensor camera.
I mean, you watch the various shows and the investigators that use it, and sometimes it is a little compelling. You can actually like get correlation between the SLS camera and other tools that seem interesting. I'm not gonna, obviously when I see something on TV, I'm not just gonna believe it, but you know,
Yeah,
it's interesting.
yeah. This the internet's telling me underneath one of these little snippets that describe an SLS camera. At the very end, it says, this is coming from spiritshack.co.uk, so it sounds like a very reliable source. It says, our SLS cameras are the only device that will allow you to do this. You can't see spirits with the human eye or video recorder. Maybe that's what we're doing wrong.
I guess so. What about all the people that say they've seen spirits with the human eye?
Liars? Maybe they're
I
all
guess so.
liars?
Yeah, I guess so.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure
Somebody's lying.
people
Somebody's
see
lying.
weird things. There's also a XLS camera, which is identical to the SLS camera, but it maps a 3D location. So it kind of, I guess, maps out your area as opposed to just giving you a 2D image of the area.
Hmm.
I'm curious to see how that works. I bet you it's just, I mean, it's probably the same exact thing, just more expensive with a cooler screen.
Wonder if they're using like lidar. Nah, they're not that advanced. They don't know. They don't even probably know what lidar is. But yeah, I mean, if you look at all those different websites, there's all kinds of tools that you can use, and it would, I think we should invest in them down the road at some point. If nothing else, it gives us more content as we're trying different strategies.
Yeah, I'm game, man. I'll invest in some of that stuff as we move along. Maybe if I type it up the right way, I could use it as a write-off for the business.
Ooh, yeah. You
I'd
need
say
those XLS cameras for
I'll
electrical work.
yeah, I'll map out job sites with them. Make sure they're not haunted before I do electrical work.
That's important. It is critical for the client. So I guess I should talk about the trip as a whole. We didn't really we stopped doing the previous format of the podcast before I even planned the trip, really. So, like I said, basically, I started in Brownsville, went up and picked up Brad in Arkansas. Then when we went and did our first investigation with you and our friend Brady in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and that was a blast.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, or fortunately, nothing jumped out of the dark and grabbed me, but I still had fun.
yeah,
And it was a very cool place. At times, it was a little eerie when I was back there by myself. So I do have to admit that.
yeah, yeah. After that investigation, I had planned. I had already organized everything. I had a collaboration with a paranormal group out of Tulsa, the Tulsa, Oklahoma Paranormal Studies. Shout out. And I was also going to have a guest star, Seth Andrews from the Thinking Atheist, and he even was talking about it on his shows, and I saw his fans getting excited about him doing it. And the day after our first investigation, I tested positive for COVID, which I feel a little guilty about because you can see me in the first video coughing. Even in when we were interviewing the owners, I had like a little coughing fit and had to leave the room. So I hope I did not get anybody sick. But that was the start
Yeah,
of
well,
the
that was
curse.
yeah, that was innocent enough. I mean, it just seemed like when your throat's dry or itchy or something like that. It's
Yeah,
pretty minuscule. I didn't think you were carrying the plague at the time.
yeah. But that was the start of the curse that that ended up cutting my trip short. But I waited until I felt better, tested negative, and we went up to Kansas and did two investigations that I'm not even going to tease because you got to watch the first one first. Um, at least one of the locations in Kansas, the veteran paranormal show, viewers will know. exactly where I went. It's a very famous place.
I like how you're trying really hard to vaguely
hmm
hint at it
Yeah.
without saying it.
And
This is entertaining.
that'll be the third investigation. The second one is maybe less known, but also a very cool place. Um, and then after that, we ended up having to cancel everything else that we had planned because there was a massive snowstorm that made traveling, especially in the RV, impossible. So I'm still trying to figure out how to reschedule everything. I've already paid, a location in Iowa that I was going to go to, and so that's a little frustrating. And hopefully, they will work with me to reschedule it and not just take the money. Um, but yeah, so it was pretty disappointing. I had to cut that short and came back, and I took Brad back to Arkansas. His mom was not doing great. She's actually in very poor health, unfortunately. Um, and I was sitting around just waiting because I had the investigation with Seth Andrews and Tulsa, Oklahoma Paranormal Studies rescheduled, and the day of, or no, the day before, I think they let me know that the pipes at the location we were going to investigate froze and burst and were flooding the building, so they had to cancel. So everything just kept falling apart. We've already had to cancel that investigation twice, and we're still trying to figure out when we can all, you know, align our schedules and make it happen. Um, so when that fell apart, I got with an old friend of mine and invited him down to another location that's in Texas, actually, and another famous one that people will recognize.
Yes,
And
where people have definitely died.
yeah, according to history, things that I have read, yes. I don't know. But yeah, it's and that is a particularly interesting investigation because the electronic devices, if you believe in ghosts, the third and fourth investigations will make you think that we found something. Yeah, that's all I'll say. Um, Again, being the non-believing skeptic, I'm sitting there when all the stuff's going off, and there's one point that something does exactly what I tell it to do, and I'm like, God damn it, and just have to walk away because I'm just like, people are gonna think that's a ghost.
Maybe. I don't know.
So, but yeah, so things are coming together. I still want to do 4 more locations for the first season. Hopefully, I can get it done on a schedule that will not disrupt the first season because I'm doing every other weekend is a paranormal episode, and at this point, like I said, 4 investigations, and if I split it up and also do 4 travel episodes, I just don't know if I have enough footage to do 4 travel episodes. So it may be fewer than it may not be. Well, yeah, I might not have enough content to stretch until I can get the next stuff shot. So maybe I'll have a mid-season finale or something like that. I'm sure people are just, all of my scores of fans are just waiting with bated breath to find out how I release things. Mm-hmm.
Well, they'll get there. They'll catch up to us eventually.
Yeah.
How far do you think you'd be willing to travel if you saw compelling evidence or heard compelling stories of something that was haunted or scary or whatever you want to call it?
I mean, I don't think that any of the stories are compelling. I mean, I think they're all equally compelling. But I mean, I want to travel anywhere. I just need money. So
Yeah, that's fair. I think we should go look for Bigfoot at some point.
I mean, sure, we can go look for Bigfoot. If nothing else, we'll see some cool nature and wildlife. So.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
I also have to try not to like completely destroy my credibility because I'm also working on legitimate documentaries about actual things. Like I'm actually at the end of April and beginning of May, I'm going to be in Florida shooting a natural history documentary. So, when I'm reaching out to all of these academics and everything, I realized that I needed to remove my YouTube channel from my email signature because I don't want them to be like, "What the hell is this guy? He's looking for ghosts." So,
I mean, maybe some of them have some wild experiences, and we could go investigate something with them. It'd be like two birds with one stone.
yeah, I think at least for the initial reaching out to credible academic people, maybe don't let them get the impression that I might be a kook. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's fair. I mean, it's your life, play it how you want to.
yeah.
So, how far did you go on your trip?
See, I'm not sure I want to say the name of the town because that'll just give it away immediately to the paranormal nerds that are listening. But I mean,
I'm thinking like rough estimate mileage wise.
all right. Let me look on maps, and I'll give you the exact distance from Wanette, Oklahoma. All right. So the furthest that I traveled was 423 miles from the house in Wanette, and
Okay.
that was allegedly 6 hours and 55 minutes of driving. So
Allegedly.
well, I mean, we
much
stop.
longer in the RV, I'm sure.
I mean, I drive like a normal speed in the RV, but we do also have to stop for gas and go to the bathroom and take the dog out because I have Florence with me. And
Yep.
speaking of Florence, if you watch this season of NōmGeo Paranormal, you will get to see my canine investigator. So she investigated, 2 locations with me, the ones that allowed dogs or the ones that I didn't actually have to talk to anybody because it's just like a public place. And at least one more, the one with Seth and the group from Tulsa, she will be investigating as well. So
Now, at any point, all right, it's okay to not answer this if you feel like you don't want to reveal this information, but at any point, did she freak out?
no,
Is she's not the type to be easily rattled?
I mean, if there was actually a ghost or something or a demon attacking her, I don't know how she would react. But I have I attach the K2 meter to her back, and I have a GoPro on her. And I will say at one of the locations, there was lots of K2 activity. The electromagnetic field was spiking. So who knows? Maybe a ghost was petting her. I was inviting the ghost to pet her. So, is that evidence of the paranormal? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, once we get that SLS camera, we can kind of put that on her too. Wouldn't that be cool to see
a stick
that on the
figure petting
camera?
the dog? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Where no one's standing there.
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
You said you've got 2 trips or 2 investigations that you're trying to reschedule?
Well, I've got 4 that I'm trying to reschedule.
Okay.
One of them will probably come first. I'll probably need to redo the one with Seth and Tops first, but just because that's the most pressing one, that's the most complicated to try to get everybody aligned on their schedule. Plus, Seth's just been. I know Seth's been itching to do it because he got his own paranormal equipment. He wants to make his own video, and it's just been frustrating because we've been canceling repeatedly. But yeah, and I've got one in Chicago. That'll probably be the last one that I do. And I was really hoping to find a good guest star in Chicago, which maybe having to reschedule will be to my advantage as far as that goes. I reached out to a couple of big podcasters that I listen to, and one of them said that he'd be interested, but he was busy that night that I had it scheduled. But he would be interested in having me on his show to talk about it at some point. So that's cool. Might be useful. Might be good for the channel. And plus, I mean, I've been listening to that show for I don't know how long, at least
Okay.
over a decade. So it'd be really cool to get to interact with those guys. And then the other podcast, they're notoriously unresponsive, but they even whenever they do shout outs on their show, it's like it'll be like right now, March, and they'll be like, this next they have they're reading out their Patreon supporters, and they're shouting them out, and they're like, Merry Christmas to so and so. Well, that's a little
nice.
Okay. So I know they don't check their emails that often, but
yeah. Well, at least it's them and not you, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I sent one of the hosts a message on Instagram and email. I don't know. I got to try like all the different avenues and see if I can get him, but I think it would be very entertaining if I had one of those guys. But we'll see.
I have a question about your travel videos.
Okay.
Okay, what are you looking for in the places that you go? You just looking for pretty places to go? Are there any other requirements?
As far as
do you want reptiles there? I'm assuming.
As far as the paranormal travel videos, like
no. I just mean like the stuff about locations.
Well, I mean, the rest of my my channel is mostly going to be animal stuff, and yeah, as a herpetologist, I'm focused on reptiles and amphibians. So when I'm in Florida filming that documentary, I'm also going to be trying to get content for my YouTube channel. The documentaries themselves, I will be more geared to film festivals. So I want to be able to, submit to the festivals, and which means I won't be able to put it on YouTube because generally they want it to be a premiere when you air it at a festival. And then after that, I'll probably try to, do some kind of a distribution, maybe not distribution deal, but like I might take it around, the country a little bit. And since it's a natural history documentary, I might try to go to different zoos and stuff like that, zoos, universities. Because it also features a couple of zoos that are doing really good conservation work. And, the ultimate goal would probably be to get a distribution deal with one of the streaming services. Got to shoot for the top, maybe Netflix or Hulu or even Prime, something like that. Prime seems to actually air a lot of independent stuff. So,
gotcha.
And if none of that works, I'll just put it on YouTube.
There you go.
So
cool. It sounds like you got a solid plan so far. So,
yep, just got to build the channel. Got to get enough subscribers to monetize, which takes a long time. There's a lot of requirements for that. I need I need 10,000 shorts views in the last 30 days or something like that.
That's interesting.
In order to maintain, status as a partner with YouTube, and also, there were subscriber count requirements and stuff like that. So, and the other platforms I'm on, like TikTok, that's I need 1,000 subscribers, and I don't remember what the other requirements are, but I only have 17 at this point. I get lots of views. I post lots of animal stuff, but it doesn't translate to followers. So basically, you got to get lucky and accidentally post a viral video, and then and then something will work out. But
yeah, well, I mean, if you make enough stuff, I'm sure something will catch.
I don't know.
Just gotta stay busy.
I'm not really the I'm not the type to do crazy things and put myself in serious risk, which those are the kinds of videos that tend to go viral with stuff like rattlesnakes. Because if I'm filming rattlesnakes, I'm just filming rattlesnakes. I'm not taking any risks with them, and I'm not going to. So
that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And the people that do, I will judge. I judge harshly.
Well, you got to stick to your guns. But I think it'll all come around in time if you just keep putting out cool content and stuff like that. I've watched all the videos. Like you've got the overhead shot of that pond. I think that was a pond, right? With all the critters in it and stuff like that. So you had some cool drone work.
Not sure what pond. Are you talking about my shark dive?
Um,
Because I did post the shark dive video, and I risked everything to use my drone to fly over the open ocean and get the sharks swimming under the boat. Because man, my drone does not handle wind well, and it doesn't navigate very well over water. So, oh, you're talking about the alligators.
yeah,
That first video, yeah,
I was looking for
yeah,
it, so I could tell you the name, but
yeah,
I'm very slow
yeah. That was
with technology.
the first drone video I put out. Yeah, that was just like my first time taking it out in the field and trying it out. And I went to a spot with alligators that's, just like half an hour from the house, if that. So, yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm impressed. I have a drone that has never seen the air.
You got to spend money, unfortunately, to get one that's flyable.
Ours was a software issue, and we never got the camera to work properly when we tested it inside. And I also think it was like a cheap, super cheap thing that probably didn't work from the start. But that's what buying things secondhand will get you sometimes.
See, I had bought a few different drones over the last several years because I wanted to make sure that I could fly a cheap one before I tried to fly an expensive one. And what I'm figuring out is the cheap ones just suck and you can't fly them. Nobody can fly them. And the good ones are actually easy to fly.
There you go.
Yeah. So I
get what you pay for.
I got the most the most affordable of the good drones. It's a DJI Neo, which is made to be cost effective, and it's made to be a starter drone. Plus, it doesn't require licensing and stuff like that. Like anybody can fly it and not get in trouble. And plus, it has all these automated modes where you can actually like set it to follow you, and you can set it to fly in front of you and film you as it's flying backwards, and all these different things. The problem is there's a lot of firmware issues, and they have a lot of problems with flyaways. So you'll just be recording, and then all of a sudden it just takes off on its own, and you never see it again.
Oh wow!
And mine tends to do that whenever I start getting wind, or if you even just like bump like a leaf hanging off a tree. Sometimes it'll say attitude mode, fly with caution, and then it just bolts. It'll just do whatever. And I actually had to have it replaced once. Thankfully, DJI was understanding because I bumped into a branch, and then it just rocketed backwards and hit a tree, and then fell and broke. So,
yeah,
but
good to know.
Yeah, when I was flying it over the ocean, you can't tell in the shark dive video, but once it was high altitude, it got a big gust of wind and went into that attitude mode, and it just rocketed like far beyond my signal. So I was sitting there with the controller, and I could do nothing except watch it. And I was like, well, I'm about to lose my drone. And I thought it was gone, but then it came back into range because it had the automatic return to home function. Even though, the return to home was, in the middle of the ocean, but it came back to within range, and I was able to cancel the automatic return to home. And
oh, nice!
Very delicately get it back to the boat. It was extremely stressful. My heart was pounding, but we got it back to the boat and got some cool footage. And I mean, the video kind of sucks because I had two GoPros. I had my new GoPro, which is awesome, and I had my old GoPro, which kind of sucks. Because I have to. The new one is built waterproof. The old one, I have to have the waterproof case, and the case just really makes it blurry. Like nothing was usable from the old GoPro. And for some reason, I made the decision to use the chest mount for my new GoPro, and I had the old GoPro on the stick that I was actually using it to swim closer to the sharks and get close footage of them. And then it turned out I couldn't use any of that good close footage. So everything is from my chest camera, and I just had to take like little clips whenever you could see a shark. So it was very disappointing.
Yeah.
I
So
guess
it
I'll
sounds like you'll have to go back and do it again.
exactly what I was about to say. So yeah, but the Hawaii things are coming together. I've got several more videos to put out. The one this weekend is from the Makapu'u Point Lighthouse Trail,
Mhm.
and it's one of those places in Hawaii that I think if you're visiting, especially if it's your first time on the island, you should probably do that trail. It's a easy trail. It's all paved, and if you go early in the morning, you get the best sunsets or best sunrise on the island. I think one of the best sunrise locations, and just
Which island is this?
it's on Oahu.
Oahu. Okay.
Yeah, it's the main island that most people visit, where Honolulu is.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it because I remember a lot of places from when I was there as a kid, but I don't remember most of their names. So I'm
Yep.
curious if I'll recognize anything. Um, Man, I'm dying to go back. One of these days, I'm gonna have to go with you.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Got to make more content. Got to make constant content. So let's do it.
Yeah, I could record you lassoing the drone, rescuing it from dire situations.
That is pretty much every time I use it. There's some kind of heart-stopping situation. So,
There you go.
but,
I'll just put a stationary camera on you and the general direction that it's flying in and see what happens. Not that
yeah,
I'm wishing any drama on you. I'm just trying to be prepared.
I will say the last time that I used it was at that uh, paranormal spot in Texas, and I actually had no issues whatsoever. So,
Okay.
and got some cool footage.
Well, look at you, sounding like a pro.
The demon that lives there did not even try to knock it down or anything. So
Yeah. Man, it would have made for good TV if you had caught that, though.
like if a demon reveals itself to destroy my drone, I think that might be worth it. If I'm able to recover the footage.
Hmm.
I mean, I will gladly sacrifice my drone to capture footage of an actual demon.
That's fair. I think that's a fair trade. That would be the one that busts everything wide open.
hmm
Hmm.
And then people would be like, "Oh, it's AI. That's fake." Because that's exactly what I would say. I know how this works. If we find
Yep.
something mind blowing and I put it on YouTube, nobody's going to believe me, and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if it's compelling enough, we could approach someone else. Approach like, I don't know, Netflix to make it a more like in-depth dive into that moment. That's unbelievable.
I mean, I can get all kinds of people that believe in ghosts to verify it. But any skeptical people watching would just be like, liar.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. But screw them. Who cares?
No, I'm not going to say screw them because I'm one of them. I see people put their ghost footage on the internet and I'm like, nah, not real.
Yeah, yeah, that's understandable. I don't know. I don't know. Let me say like this: like I have no problem driving obnoxiously fast on my motorcycle, but when I see other people doing it in situations that I disapprove of, I'm like, screw them. So I realize that that's like I'm a bit of a hypocrite in that department, but I'm okay with it. I've made my peace.
You got 4 kids, man. You got to slow down.
So you've got your. I don't know, man. I don't think I could slow down. I don't think it's humanly possible. I am what I am. A wise man once said. I think it was Popeye.
This is the clip that I'm going to be playing for your tribute episode whenever after you die in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah, just make sure you got some good shots on my bike. I've got a few sitting on GoPros laying around the house that I never turned into anything. So,
All right, I'll put like slow motion, shots of you riding the bike and have Cheryl Crow playing in the background. Or no, not Cheryl Crow. Sarah McLachlan. Is that the one? Who sings the Arms of the Angel song?
I think you're right, but I have to admit I don't know.
It's one of those two. A 90s female musician. I guess we should find out before everybody emails us. Or maybe this is how we get more traffic, as we say stupid things.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah. Somebody else can do the homework and then educate us.
Sarah McLachlan. Okay.
There you go.
I got it the second try.
All right. Well, it's getting close to time for me to go pick up some of those kiddos we were just talking about.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me. And we'll see if you can join me for the next one as soon as I plan the next one.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to release these kind of as they come out. Lots of people stick to like, oh, we post every Sunday, and I respect them for that, but that's not going to be me. This is just going to happen whenever it happens, and I'm going to post it on.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to post them on YouTube. I'm going to post the video component on YouTube, and I will post the audio, and it will go to Spotify. So
there you go. Yeah, just keep it organic, man. Go with the flow.
Yep. All right, brother. Thanks for joining me.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. See you later. Thank you for listening to the NōmGeo Podcast. New episodes are released whenever they're released. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Nomadic Geographic. And keep an eye out for new videos every Saturday, 6 p.m. Central.